Hello everybody out there in the bookverse, it's Stephanie, and today I am back with a video about my most anticipated releases for the fourth quarter of 2020.
Hey guys, Future Stephanie here. So I totally forgot to post this video and some of these books have already come out. So sorry about that, but I am going to still post it because it's still relevant for most of the books. But I apologize for the lateness.
So if you're new to my channel, hey, welcome. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you'd like to see more, definitely hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you'll be notified when I post new content. But let's jump into these books because I really have a lot that I am so excited for, and it's probably going to be a problem for my TBR towards the end of the year because I have so many books that I want to read. The way I'm gonna set up this video is I'm going to talk about 6 books that I am really excited for, and I'm gonna go into a little more detail with those ones, and then at the end I'm going to kind of list off a few more books that I am looking forward to, that I'm kind of interested in, but they're not ones that I definitely want to pick up right away and really get to, and I won't really go into detail about those ones. So the first one that I want to talk about is coming out on October 6th, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This book is supposed to follow a girl named Addie LaRue who made a deal with the devil to live forever, but no one would ever remember her. And then I think the main part of this story starts when someone does remember her, and it goes from there. So I am really excited for this book, mostly because there's just a ton of hype around it. Honestly, I don't know if this premise would interest me as much if it wasn't V.E. Schwab and if it wasn't so hyped on BookTube already, but I am excited for it. I think it's going to be a great book, and V.E. Schwab is an amazing author. So this is one that I want to pick up really soon after it comes out. The next book that I'm excited for also comes out on October 6th, and that is Over the Woodward Wall by A. Deborah Baker, which is a pen name for Shauna McGuire. So this book is mentioned in Shauna McGuire's book Middle Game, and it's talked about quite frequently in there. And so Shauna McGuire wrote the book and is now going to be publishing it. This book follows 2 children, one who is super organized and one who is extremely unpredictable. They live in the same area, and then one day they climb over this wall in their neighborhood and end up at a place called the Up and Under. And this is kind of a fantastical world. And yeah, I'm really excited for it because I loved Middle Game, and I was kind of confused a little bit when they talked about this book in Middle Game, and I think it would be very nice to be able to read about it and actually get some background, a little more information on that book. I'm very interested to see what she does with it because she has set such a foundation for it in Middle Game that there are some things she kind of probably has to stick within in order to make it seem like this is the book that comes from that book. And so that's something that intrigues me, and I really want to see how she does that, how well she pulls that off. The next book that I'm really looking forward to comes out on October 13th, and that is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I believe that this is a adult fantasy book that is set in pre-colonization Americas, and this extremely big celestial event is about to occur. It's a solar eclipse that coincides with the solstice, and at the same time there is a woman who is returning to the land from far away. She's the captain of the ship, but she's carrying a passenger who may be dangerous, who may be a villain. We are really not positive what is up with this passenger or even why this woman was exiled in the first place. So I am extremely excited for this book. I'm hoping it's going to pull in some ancient mythology from that time. It's just one that sounds really interesting and fascinating to me, but I haven't really heard anyone else talking about it. So I'm very excited to read that book and see exactly how it goes. I don't know, I kind of like these books that are inspired by our past history mythology. I think that these are very fascinating fantasy worlds, and I definitely have high hopes for this one. The next book on my list is one that I have been looking forward to all year because it was supposed to come out earlier this year, but then COVID happened and it got pushed back, and that is Hollowpox, which is the 3rd book in the Morgan Crow series, the Nevermore series, and in this one, Morgan is continuing to learn at the school that she is attending, but at the same time, there is this illness that is kind of spreading through Nevermore and affecting the Wunimals, the big, kind of powerful, smart animals that they have in that world. And so, of course, Morgan and her friends have to figure out what's going on and save the day. I absolutely love this series. It's by Jessica Townsend, and she is just great. She's an amazing author, and I love her character work. She writes some great characters that you just want to root for. Morgan is adorable. She's sassy. She's cute. And Jupiter, her mentor, is just so lovable and so dear. He's so sweet, and her little friends can be sassy, and it's just a good time. It's a middle grade series, and if you want just something lighthearted, fun, fantasy, whimsical, great villain, great characters, this is definitely the series for you. The next one is a book that's been on pretty much everybody's anticipated releases videos that I have watched at all, and that is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson, and it's coming out on November 17th. This book is the fourth installment in his Stormlight Archive series, with the first one being Way of Kings. It is such a huge world, huge story. Everything is just so amazing and well built, and it's so good. If you love high fantasy, highly recommend the Stormlight Archive. Fourth one's coming out in November, so you better get going if you want to be done by the time that comes along. But I am absolutely pumped for this book's release. I am planning on reading Oathbringer in October, right before this is released, and then I am going to jump right into Rhythm of War as soon as it comes out. Yeah, this is my most anticipated release of the entire year. I have extremely high hopes. I mean, they're off the charts. It's probably not really fair to the book, but you know what? The series hasn't let me down yet, so. And the final book that I'm going to talk about in detail, I actually don't have a lot of details about, sorry, but that is Ready Player 2 by Ernest Cline. This is the follow-up book to his Ready Player 1, which I absolutely loved. It's a sci-fi book that kind of takes place in this virtual reality world where pretty much most people spend a lot of their time. They go to school there, they can play games there, and it's very interesting. There's a competition set up where they have to find something. Gosh, I don't even remember. Maybe I'm gonna have to reread Ready Player 1. But there's a competition, and it has all to do with like 80s things. And it was so much fun. So I highly recommend Ready Player 1, but Ready Player 2 is coming out on November 24th of this year, and I really don't know a lot about it. Goodreads has no information on the book, but I'm still gonna read it because Ready Player 1 was amazing, and I think Ready Player 2 is gonna be so much fun. I don't really know what you would do with a sequel to that because I feel like the first one ended very well, but still, it's coming and I'm reading it. Okay, so now we are on to the books that I am interested in but not quite as excited for, so I'm just going to kind of list them off and their dates. I have a list here, so I have to look down. I'm looking at my computer. There is The Lives of Saints by Leigh Bardugo. This is coming out on October 6th, and this is a book that is mentioned in her Grishaverse, so I believe it's just going to kind of be a collection of stories about the saints of that world. There's Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. That comes out on October 27th, and she is the author of the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. This is the start of a new young adult series that she is writing, and so I think it should be pretty interesting. She seems like a very good writer, very engaging, great characters, so that's something that could be interesting as well. Legacy of Steel by Matthew Ward is coming out on November 3rd, and that is the sequel to Legacy of Ash, which is a high fantasy series. I haven't read the first one of yet, but it sounds very interesting. The Ever Cruel Kingdom by Ren Chupeco. This comes out on November 10th, and this is her sequel to her book, The Never Tilting World, which I haven't read, but I do own. The Fires of Vengeance by Evan Winter is coming out on November 10th, and this is a sequel to Rage of Dragons, which I have not read yet, but it is on my fall TBR. And that is it for my most anticipated releases for the fourth quarter of 2020. Let me know down in the comments if you're excited for any of these books as well, any that I didn't mention that you are really looking forward to, so that maybe I can check them out as well. But as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.